Uh-oh. Okay, hang tight, everybody. There we go. That was super weird. Okay. Everything froze. Everything froze and then Chrome crashed. So I think hopefully we're still online. Yeah, it looks like we are. Let's pop the chat out. Oh, it's Discord. Discord crashed. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Cool, 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 cool. Okay. That's it. We did it. We're back. Oliver, welcome in. Philip, welcome in. Good day. It's been a while. Hey, how's it going? I'm doing pretty good. How's everybody else doing? Let me grab the viewer suggestion because I want to try to get some of those done today. Back. Grab some of these. Ba boo. Hope everybody had a good week so far. A nice weekend. I streamed a little bit on Twitch on Monday, which was fun. I might start doing that a little more on the off days. Oops. Sort. There we go. Busy, but decently changed my life. I've been getting used to it. Gotcha. That happens. It happens, and I hope you're the best in working through that. All right. It is. Why am I not watching this live? Okay, there we go. So this is what we're working on today. I just got through most of the line art yesterday. What happened here? Oh, because I took the old piece. Okay. So I'm trying to work on getting this little gingerbread boy all done. We need to go through and clean up a whole bunch of stuff here. I copied the spear because I liked it. I didn't want to have to redraw it because that can be a pain in the butt. Pain in the butt. So we'll see how much more pain I've caused myself by doing that. But Drew, welcome in.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. I don't have Aggie up, but if you would like me to turn Aggie on, I will.
No, it's fine. I'm finishing up a game and then I'm gonna start drawing, working on my stuff. I've got a friend who's running a it's a 5e game, but it's a third-party setting. So it's a couple of modules, and they're set in a Bloodborne-like universe.
I've seen some of those. Those are kind of
Yeah,
interesting.
Steinhardt's something or
Yeah.
other. Anyway, so yeah, I've got a dark and dreary character to draw now.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Yeah, so that's what I'm working on. I um I really like the mints as the what are called the pauldron
Yeah.
gussets on this armor. It's very funny.
Thank you.
Not least of which because they also kind of look like giant nipples.
They do kind of look like giant boobs. It's great.
Uh,
I have a D&D game tonight, I think,
hmm.
that I kind of forgot about.
Are you running or just playing?
I'm just playing it. Lars
Okay.
is
Yeah.
Lars is DMing it.
Yeah.
Herb Gerblin.
Yeah. Well, then it's the perfect time to remember that you've got a game tonight. So.
Yep. I should probably clean up all of the tokens I made in haste last week.
Mm-hmm.
Just erase all of this crap. It'll save me time later if I just blah 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 blah. I probably should just redraw a lot of this stuff, but whatever. I didn't draw last night on my sketchbook.
Oh no.
So, day 181. Start over. Restart the clock. I went to bed last night and I was just tired and I just went to bed. Usually go to bed and then draw for like half an hour.
I doubt this is going to make you feel any better, but you got a lot farther on it than I thought you would when you had a baby.
Yeah, yep. I tried really hard. I even brought it to the hospital with me. I did my sketches in the hospital.
Diligent.
Yeah. When I got to I think I was on like day 1,000 or something. That sucked. I felt really, really bad when I didn't. I was like, no.
Yeah.
And then I had that moment of like, do I just keep doing it? Do I do I lie to everyone? And I was like, no, it just needs to end. And now at 181, it's like, dang it. But it doesn't matter because I'm still gonna draw tonight. So it's like, all right, well,
Yeah.
I'll draw last night's picture, restart the clock, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. You already screwed it up after 10 years, so this
Yep.
is small potatoes comparatively.
Is that how long? That can't be right. That would be 3,000 days.
Yeah. I was
Still,
exaggerating because I can't do the math in my head, so I just threw a number out there.
It's like all.
I remember you telling us how long it had been and feeling extremely impressed and more than a little bit jealous.
Mm-hmm. The other thing about it, like, I kind of want to stop doing it. Like, I don't want to stop drawing. I just want to stop tracking it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, like, doing it that way keeps me... when I first started doing it, there would be times when I'd go, like, oh, time to draw tonight. And then I would notice, like, oh, I haven't drawn in 2 weeks. And it's just like, how did that happen? So there is a part of me that, like, needs to track it daily.
Yeah.
Or I can skip days without realizing it. It's a great change for my honest meeting new people, making new friends. Good. But I used to, when I just kind of freeform did it, I wasn't so strict about what I would draw, because some days it was just like, I'm just gonna doodle characters for my game today, and then that turned into like a whole book of just game dev, and I didn't feel so restricted on it. But what I've discovered with that too is a lot of it wasn't really me practicing drawing, because a lot of it was just me like really faint scribbling. So it's like, I should be doing that throughout the day, not as a thing to make me better at art, right? So
Right.
which that became more of a journal, which it was kind of fun. Like maybe I'll just start keeping track of a journal too. I love whenever you start a new project, like getting a new book for it. But then when you don't work on the project, you just end up with a bunch of books that have
Yeah,
like two
yeah.
pages drawn in them.
That is very much specifically why in college I stopped buying sketchbooks for that, and I would make like really little dinky, super cheap sketchbooks out of like
Nice.
um yeah, because I took a bookbinding class to meet girls, and
Interesting. The only
look
bookbinders I know are all men.
really,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. BYU is a different place then.
Yeah, I guess
Uh
so.
yeah, guys are supposed to make money, girls are
I was
supposed to be
gonna say, yeah.
crafty.
Most
Yeah.
of the guys I know that went to BYU all went for like business majors.
Yep. Yep. Which I mean, never mind. I'm not gonna say it. Anyway, yeah. So
You
I
excluded, I
like,
guess, but that's fine.
yeah, yeah. Girls, crafty girls are I did not meet any girls who were interested in me. I think most of the girls in that class were lesbians.
Ah,
So, but obviously could not be out. Still, I do still have a couple of friends from that class though.
that's good.
And because they were very cool people. I do not have any friends still from the ballet class or any of the other dance classes that I took to meet women because dance girls are crazy.
I also learned this, so
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, this is I've totally lost the plot. What was I saying? Oh, right.
oh,
Bookbinding. I
bookbinding, yeah.
making my own journals. Yeah. So making my own journals for a project, it meant that I could control. I picked up a pattern on about how many projects I was, or about how many pages I was gonna get into a project before I put it on the back burner, and that meant that I could just like use cheap computer paper and make a small notebook, and then I would never feel bad when I went back to the project because I'd be like, oh, so this is what I have, and I can add it to this other stack of stuff.
They made a really, I think it, who was it? Um, there was a really cheap, like $5, $6 sketchbook that I used
Mm-hmm.
to just buy in bulk, basically, at the beginning of every semester. And then I would put one, I'd have one for each class that I was taking. And then usually what that turned into is me like writing notes in them and sketching in them during that class.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But so I threw away a lot of those because a lot of them weren't really like worth anything.
Yeah, yeah. I unfortunately at the end of high school, I thought that I was all that in a bag of chips because I because I was in the AP class, AP art class, and so I like for a year I only wanted to draw on moleskins, and then I got into college and realized how expensive they were, and I was like,
Yeah.
holy crap, my parents should not have been that patient with me. But I didn't really ask a lot of them growing up, so maybe that's why.
I was one of those kids that like ever since like I met one of my friends in kindergarten and he was an artist. Like he loved to draw and doodle. And so then
Mm-hmm.
I started doing that with him and I just always drew from then on. And
Mm.
so pretty much every birthday and Christmas I was gifted some kind of sketchbook or notepad or something.
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
And then my
yeah.
dad was a copy repairman, so we had just reams of paper around the house. So I was never wanting for a sketchbook.
Mm.
I always had something.
That's nice. That's really nice.
But I also never had like the really, really fancy sketchbooks until I got into college.
Yeah. I
I
didn't
think
have
I
the
have.
fancy sketchbooks until my older sisters kind of got a taste for the finer things and started doing most of my sisters are kind of artsy. I've got a sister who is professionally a oil painter. I've got a sister who uh, is an interior designer and does that freelance while she takes care of her kids. And I've got a sister who is a soil scientist and teacher. So. Um, and then my younger sister is in fashion design and works for a company doing that, like designing sportswear, which is, or she was. I think uh, Actually, I don't know if she's still doing that. Her kid got sick, and I think they've had to consolidate their life. So
That'll happen.
yeah.
Hello, by the way.
Hey.
Welcome in.
Yeah. But yeah, when my sisters discovered there were very nice sketchbooks, they started buying them and leaving them around, and then young kid, I want what they have.
Yeah. I'm sure oh man, that is not a circle at all. I gotta figure out where and what is up with my desk that I cannot draw circles. I think maybe my tablet needs to be higher.
It's it's pretty rough.
It might be my eyeballs too. I'm not sure. Because I think part of like my left eye is so much more dominant now
Right.
that I just don't notice how skewed things are until I turn them.
Interesting. You're not the only person with a like a Wacom drawing tablet that I've heard has that kind of problem though.
I think a big part of it is just because it is so much space. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
Because I have the same problem when you're drawing on a big artboard. If you're like drawing over the top of it, you have to like really get into it, or everything gets skewed out.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I've heard enough people complaining about it that I don't actually think that I want to upgrade from my like little tabletop. I guess it's not a tablet. What's the difference? The drawing pad that's
Yeah.
not a screen.
they're just stylus based.
Yeah.
Um,
Because like at this point I'm so used to like drawing without having to see my hands that I
yeah, that's the big thing. Like
I
training
don't
to
think I
do
could
the
upgrade.
disconnect so you can watch a monitor and do it.
mm-hmm.
That's definitely a bonus.
Yeah.
And really, I guess I could do that too. I could just I could double the screen and draw from a different screen altogether.
What's the point of having that nice fancy giant monitor you can draw on though? If that's how you're gonna do it.
I mean, the size and the placement of it is great because I remember when I used to draw on my other tablet, like my wrist would get really tired, really tired. So I do like drawing at this angle. I built my own custom jig just to put it at a spot that I like. But it has this problem where circles are all goofy. I think maybe part of it is that like I'm right here in my desk and I have my keyboard right here. So technically I'm facing this direction and my tablet's right here. So I am drawing kind of off to the side.
Right.
Because I'm using my keyboard over here. But like it's super comfortable because then I can just like look at chat, which is above. I have my other monitor right here. And I can just go to town. But it makes everything crooked. So I don't know. I don't know.
It makes sense that that would be a problem. How are you doing, Corvus?
I'm alright. We've been getting a lot of rain lately.
Nice. That's good.
I guess it's just made everything really dreary, so it's just like,
Don't know how to help you. That's my life and I like it. You alright, kid? What happened?
it just makes me really like extra tired.
You okay? Hold on a second. What's going on?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're here.
I totally get the exact same way on rainy days.
Yeah,
And like if the storm comes in without warning, which totally happens because I live in a mountain valley, so that happens frequently. Then like on top of just being totally sapped of energy, like all of my joints also hurt, so I just end up like laying in bed all day.
Yeah, I'm not that bad. It's just it was like super like gray outside. It just I have a harder time waking up.
Yeah, yeah.
And like most of this rain is coming from the hurricane that's hitting the Gulf right now.
Yeah. I forgot that that was happening.
Yep. They initially were like, "Oh, it ain't gonna be too bad," and then, "Oh no, it might be pretty bad."
You never can tell with hurricanes.
Yep.
Well, what was the? Sorry, nope, not gonna go there. Not gonna go there.
Because we're definitely getting more rain than normal from them because this one is like hitting the Gulf, so it is like unimpeded by the mountains.
Oh, it's coming up from the
So it
side.
just is being thrown straight up
Yeah.
the flatland. So if it goes along the Atlantic coast, um, we don't get too much of the rain. We'll get scattered showers, but most of it will be contained within on the coastline. But if it goes up the Gulf side, it will just send rain on up into whole region, really, like all the way up to like Ohio.
Gotcha. Alexander, welcome in.
Good evening, Denmark.
In WoW RP at the moment, what is worked on today? I'm working on a tiny little gingerbread man. There we go. With a Santa flag. We're getting there. We are getting there. We're almost done.
Skipping Halloween, going straight to Christmas.
Unfortunately, yes, that wasn't my intent, but I was gonna make this a little tiny goblin, and then the commissioner was like, "No, it's got to be a gingerbread man." And I was like, "Oh, okay, just fine." it's just not a tiny goblin, which I am always wanting to draw.
You draw them almost daily.
Yep. Tiny goblins and owl girls. Those are my jam.
You know, given the way I've seen you roleplay goblins and I've seen you roleplay poppets and a bunch of other little things, I'm pretty sure you play them all basically the same. So
Yeah, it's basically like if it's not Kermit the Frog, it's Gonzo, and that's just it. That's my. I can't roleplay Fozzie Bear because I'm not actually that good of a comedian. I tried to be a
Yeah.
comedian at one point in time. Fozzie is really funny because of how bad he is, but like that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
You have to be an extra
totally.
level of clever to be Fozzie bad. And I'm just not.
Keep rolling.
You turtle kid?
Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
I rolled over onto a stuffed animal and I'm stuck.
Keep rolling.
You can do it. He might not be able to do it.
He's trying to sit up.
I'm too chunky.
He's not quite coordinated his arms yet. He can move his legs and he can move his hands, but he has not figured out how to do that in tandem. You stuck? Oh, sad boy. This is not what I wanted. Alright, where's that Santa face? There it is. Make this a little smaller. Whoops, wrong layer. Beep. What? What? That's a little too elaborate.
Isn't that Discworld's death as
Yeah.
Discworld's Santa equivalent?
We were talking
forget.
about
The Hogfather?
the Hogfather yesterday. Is the Hogfather supposed to be just Santa?
I don't know. I've never read
Yeah.
Discworld.
So there's a non-skull version of the Hogfather in.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that is death, or at least one version of death. He also has a daughter.
Okay. I finally got through the Discworld, the first book,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty good. I really like Rincewind, who was partially an inspiration for my what if fighter or wizard that doesn't believe in magic, because the main character in that book can't do magic, and people constantly give him shit. And he constantly almost dies and meets death, and death makes fun of him, and then he leaves. He's like, just die already. He's like, no, I refuse. He bails.
Yeah, from my understanding, death, at least that particular version of death, is pretty comical.
He's pretty good. Just let go of the branch. What? It won't be painful. What?
I promise.
Don't worry about it. How will being eaten by wolves not be painful? But it was hard to get through for me for some reason. I'm not really sure why.
I'm not reading anything currently, but I have been getting a lot of shorts, like clips of Sandman.
Yeah, me too. Which is good. I really like. The comic is
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
The show does a really good job of keeping true to the comic. I think I might just do a taper color instead of an actual transition. Just let that do its thing. And then we need the candy canes.
Was that Darude Sandstorm?
It was, yeah.
I've never actually heard the song. I only barely recognized it from Aaron's Hanson's
Oh man, you should listen to the song.
rendition.
It's bananas.
Ah.
It's like 6 lines.
Yeah, I think the reason I haven't listened to it is very much because it's not the type of music I'm prone to listen to.
So back when MTV2 still played music, and I say MTV2 because I didn't have cable. MTV2 was like a broadcast station.
Mm-hmm.
Before it became literally Viva La Bam, 24 hours a day. Every morning when I woke up, it would be Gorillaz, Sandstorm, and then one other song. I can't remember what the last one was. But it was every morning I woke up. It was they played the same list over and over again every morning. It was like weird.
Rook has lost his marbles.
I'm tired. Had a dentist appointment this morning. When I moved here, I didn't go to the dentist for a long time when I lived in Idaho. When I moved here, I finally had dental insurance, and so I was like, I guess I go every 6 months now. That's cool. And they have like fancy hypersonic cleaners.
Yep.
now. And there's like one tooth that whenever they hit it, it just makes my whole head go. I hate it. It's like, that was the worst. They're like, yeah, that
Yeah.
happens. I'm like, cool.
I get a similar feeling. I've got like my one of my teeth that does that with a hypersonic cleaner is bound by a permanent retainer, and the resonant frequency is such that any tooth bound by that permanent retainer does that now. It's very frustrating.
Just gonna make your skull vibrate a little bit. Hey, that's how Bone Shaker works.
Yeah. That is one of the Pathfinder's more fun low-level necromancy spells.
Deranged spells, yeah.
Yeah. For the most part, the low-level spells are pretty tame, and then you get like fourth-level spells, and all of a sudden, all bets are off.
Okay, I think we're done. I think that is the line work for this guy. Tiny little Santa Paladin. Gub. Bleh. Right. I'm going to do some viewer suggestions. Let me grab some texture paper here. You alright? You gonna bomb? Thinking about it.
Come on, Von Bro.
Thinking about it. Maybe. Might a little later. He's officially become a cat.
Fits right in with his brothers, huh?
Yeah. I caught him. He vomited on the floor and then started licking it. I'm like, stop that. That's disgusting.
Oh.
And then later he went over and stole Skip Cat's cat food and started trying to eat that. And I was just like, well, I've lost control. There's nothing I can do about this now. Blah, 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 blah. Baby vom is mostly spit, so it's not like dogs and cats. They do that.
Yeah.
Like Skip Cat, he'll just yak and then be like, I'll save that for later. It's like, I'm gonna clean that up. He's like, no, it's mine. Don't do that.
What's in my Vom?
Excuse me, that came from me. It belongs to me.
I'm just gonna put this in your shoe and then I will come back for it this afternoon.
Ogres.
I can't find my paper textures. It's been too long. There we go. Geef? Beef. Okay. I'm gonna roll some dice. An orc that values both brawl and brains. All right.
That it?
That's it. That's all it says.
Okay.
Here we go. I found a really cool way to draw orcs the other day, and I can't remember what it was. It had something to do with a giant jaw.
Like Warhammer Orc?
Not quite. I think it was more like this. Like the jaw just kind of goes into the tusks. It's very caricatured, but like, I kind of dig it.
Big Daka.
I don't get that reference.
Neither do I, but the picture is very funny to me.
Is that an orc saying?
The
The Warhammer thing?
Yeah, it's a Warhammer thing. Let's see what it just means, like it's an orc expression for firepower.
Okay.
Had to make sure that's what it was, and not just meaning gun. Just big explosion.
One of my family members is like, I got, what is it? Space Marine 2. You should get it. And I was like, I don't have time or money for more games right now. And then they were like, yeah, I'm not sure how the co-op works, but it looks really fun. And I was like, okay, maybe. But like, I don't know. Don't know if I have the capacity for a 40K game right now. Partially because I don't care at all about the storyline, and people have been just gushing over the main storyline of it, like the single
I
player.
have heard the opposite though.
Oh, really? People like
Yeah,
the
I've
multiplayer over the
mostly
single
been
player?
hearing people love the co-op more than the story. The story is kind of just a bit flat,
Okay.
but that's probably coming from like more of the hardcore Warhammer fans, and people who are liking the story are maybe not the hardcore fans.
I saw a YouTube video keeps popping up on my feed that I haven't watched. And it keeps saying something to the effect, like the thumbnail says that the story actually like doesn't follow 40K lore, and people are mad about that. And I'm like, yeah, it could just be manufactured rage, you know. But,
Oh yeah, I don't know about that. I haven't heard bad things about the story. It's just people are just like, the story's a bit flat. That's about it.
If you want those pictures, just figure it out. I don't want to say Warhammer is just kind of meh, because I don't know. I know nothing about it. So, like, I am not the person to have any, like, formulated opinion about the story. But every time people try to explain to me, it's just like, it's so over the top that it almost makes me bored. Like, it's really hard for me to, it's really hard for me to want to get into the 40K lore.
40K essentially goes like from a nice grim dark setting to grim derp, as people call it, just so absurd and like it's comical.
Yeah.
Everything.
Like,
yeah.
It's very weird.
I've got a couple of I've got my brother plays it, and I've got a friend who is like does not play but reads everything that comes out about Warhammer, and it's like she's told me about as much as I'm willing to listen.
Every time I do.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Sorry.
It feels to me like the same way that that The Boys is gore porn. It feels to me like Warhammer 40K, at least the lore, is abuse porn.
I can see that. I was gonna say
yeah.
dystopian. Like it's not cyberpunk, but like it's because there's no real rebellion, because rebellion is instantly quashed, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
It's like the most toxic version of a power fantasy I think I've ever heard of.
Yeah, it very much is a they once had like a good guy faction, but people railed against it so badly that they went and retconned its lore and say, oh no, they're actually really bad. They brainwash all the people.
Okay.
It's like the fans don't know what they want, so ignore the fans, in my opinion.
Story's okay. It's fun by all measures, but one does not simply play game for the story. You play it to tell stupid crap at the top of your lungs with your friends. Okay.
Yeah.
I do have something I've noticed with a few people I know that actually have played 40K. One, they're all in the military, and and two, they're all I don't want to say not flamboyant, very boisterous about, like, when they tell stories, it's hyper exaggeration, and they love that type of storytelling of just like hyperbole beyond. So it's like, I feel like maybe that it bends well to that. Welcome in, Bri.
40K very much is ridiculous, like absurdity cranked up to 10,000, because it's like you'll be reading, it's like, oh, during the Great Crusade, this certain legion wiped out 5 planets full of trillions of people, and that's nothing. That is a drop in the bucket of like the massive scale of 40K.
Every now and again, I'll get people. There's a lady on YouTube that like talks about like just snippets of the lore, and I've watched a few of her videos, and those are always really interesting. When it's just like, oh, this is like a planet that's like the whole planet is just one mining colony, and it's like, jeebus.
Yep. There's that. Then there's like Hive Worlds, which is just like Star Wars Coruscant, but like worse.
I actually, speaking of Coruscant, something I thought was really interesting. I don't know if it's true or not, but someone was talking about the fact that like Coruscant was built, and then people started like living on it, and then they basically mined Coruscant away, and just kept building the planet out. So there's just like a weird, hollow city planet now. It's like
that.
huh.
Yeah, that's kind of like how a lot of planets are in 40K if they're controlled by the Empire. From my general understanding of it, it's just like whole worlds just get mined out, turned into desolate, barren wastelands.
It's just D&D for a different type of person. That could be.
Yeah, totally. I want to say specifically, I don't know enough about Warhammer 40K or like Star Wars anything to make any sort of value statements about it. I only know that I've been exposed enough to know that I don't think I want to participate.
Yeah. I only ever would want to participate in painting as the minis. Or maybe Warhammer Fantasy, which is a lot toned down.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's
isn't Warhammer Fantasy like the old version? Are they not updating it anymore? Like it was Warhammer, and then like the world ended, and they did Warhammer 40K. Is that correct?
so 40K is not connected to fantasy in whatsoever, with the exception of orcs and the old ones.
Okay.
That's like the only like 2 connecting points, because Warhammer 40K takes place in the Milky Way galaxy, and like there's like straight up like there are people who are like from, I don't know, Italy, but it's all been like, it's weird because it's like you have
Emperor
Terra, which is Earth,
Yes.
and then you have a bunch of like, it's a lot of ridiculousness, but yeah, it's meant to take place in like a weird alternate version of like our reality.
Okay, interesting.
It's also like currently like stagnating because the people who control the technology refuse to advance anything.
Oh,
So like
Apple.
everything is like slowly like degrading.
It's just
And
a
it's
branch
because
off
they're
of
like,
material,
well,
I
everything
think.
was perfect back then. Why should we improve on the past?
Okay.
And it's like,
I gotta jump in there. I was gonna talk about it earlier and I didn't want to. Kid, why so sad? Mama left.
He wants you to stop. He wants to stop you
Yeah,
from going
I
on
was
an
gonna talk
conservative rant.
I was gonna go off about certain people trying to get rid of the National Weather Service. It's just like, Why? Why would you do that? Like, this is
Wait.
just-
Seriously, I have not heard that yet.
it's like a kooky conspiracy theory, but
Okay.
there's like
Is it though?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like
It's,
everyone's like, no, we're not gonna do that, but we totally want to do that. But no, we're not gonna, but we want to. And it's just like, stop it. Just stop. Stop all this crap. Same thing with like
That's-
NASA. It's like, we don't need NASA. The government shouldn't be paying for that. Just let Elon Musk do it. It's like, I want the government to be in charge of that, please.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
I,
because
that sounds
they-
an awful lot like they've said some very similar things about other things involving healthcare.
And so, like,
Yeah.
especially a good example of why this is the rant I wanted to go off on. A good
go ahead,
example
it's fine.
of like the submarine thing, right? Like, why don't we have the National Oceanographic? Is that right?
Noah.
Yeah, like they don't have enough money to really research the ocean in like a fundamental way that I think we should be doing.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, the free market will take care of it. It's like, nope, free market's not good at that. Oh, poor kid.
Not unless
Yeah.
somebody figures out a way to make it lucrative to to try to find colossal squid.
That's what I'm worried about with space travel and stuff. Is like, it's gonna be touristy, and then
Yeah.
someone's gonna try to like mine a moon, and then everything's gonna blow up. It's like, can we just leave this to the people that actually want to study this and not corporate America, please?
Yeah. But yeah, they're like, we want to get rid. They essentially want to turn Noah into a paid subscription that you have to pay to get the updates for hurricanes and everything and weather.
Excuse me? That makes no sense.
Purpose. Yeah.
And the current guy in charge of it is for it because he's a former appointee
Of
who
course.
didn't get kicked out.
Kid, you cannot play with the keyboard. You have all your toys. You cannot play with the keyboard. That one's mine.
Don't scold him. He's doing an excellent thing, distracting us and getting us off topic before
We can
I
change topics.
explode.
I was gonna yell at it earlier and I didn't, and I just had to. Once we started talking about the God Emperor, I got it.
Okay, he's like the stuff I like about 40K has nothing to do with the humans. I in fact want all the aliens to gang up and get rid of the humans.
I really
fix all
every
the
time
problems.
every time I talk about 40K, it just makes me want to go back and read Dune.
Yeah, right?
Dune is an interesting universe with kind of a shitty storyline.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is weird.
From my understanding of Dune, very similar to 40K and just like how everything kind of operates.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's not really surprising. I guarantee Games Workshop stole pretty much everything as tropes built off of general sci-fi, and general sci-fi is built off of tropes established by Dune. So
I will say 40K is probably the worst sci-fi. Like if you want pure science fiction, it's more like Star Wars, where it's more of like a science fantasy. Like they bend over backwards to explain that the space magic isn't magic, but psychic powers. I'm like, you're literally setting people on fire.
Yeah. I mean, that's
That's
the
not
whole.
psychic.
and psychic powers are magic.
It's
Thank
magic.
you.
Yep.
Exactly.
It's not magic. It's nanoparticles. It's like, great. Thanks, Neo. It's fucking magic. Like, just deal with it. The original group had a
Nanomachine, son.
disagreement on content stuff, and I believe it was some business deals that fell through, and one of them because D&D and the other Warhammer Fantasy is their D&D. Got it. Yeah. There's-
Okay.
Games Workshop has always, I want to say, kind of have a rivalry with D&D, and I think that would be why. But
Yeah.
because they're both based off of like just tabletop wargaming, which is
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
like
yeah.
Civil War reenactment, which is kind of an interesting concept. I never thought about that for a long time. But that's where this all started, of like, okay, we'll set up all the troops like they had it. Now, how could we have done this battle differently? And it's like,
Yeah.
history nerds. So, okay, here's my orc. He's got the pauldrons so he can fight stuff, but he likes the books. He likes the books.
Little spectacles.
Needs little spectacles. Do that. That doesn't look right. Hold on. That's not how spectacles work. How is the
But yeah.
Hurricane Center going, Bri?
Yeah, we're getting some of your rain.
But if we stop paying for the thing, we just don't have to worry about hurricanes no more.
Yeah, so stupid and dangerous.
I'm over here trying to get rid of the Electoral College, and other people are trying to get rid of the National Weather Service. I don't know what's going on anymore.
I want to get rid of censorship.
Actually, there's a really interesting. I'm on the fence about this, and not censorship in general, but specifically like First Amendment stuff.
Uh-huh.
I watched a little snippet, I watched part of a Joe Rogan thing with them talking specifically about like Facebook and Twitter and censorship and the First Amendment stuff. And it's like, the First Amendment is to protect the government from censoring people. And now you throw in companies, and it's like, so now you're saying that companies are people, so the government can't censor companies, but companies can censor whatever they want because that's part of their First Amendment right. And it's like, there's a moment where we're going to have to define what is a person and what they're allowed to say, which is really weird, right?
Yeah. It's also something that America has been trying to avoid doing formally for 200 years.
Because unfortunately, like there are lines in the sand where people have drawn and we have drawn stuff. It's the same thing with that's why laws exist. Like, you can defend yourself and fight people however you want, but like you're not allowed to kill people just because, right? Like, so there's a line. There's a line. And it's the same thing with free speech. Like, you can say whatever you want. Like, that's the great thing about America. You can say, draw, post, whatever you want. But then the question is, are you free from repercussions from that? Like, what do we have to set apart those laws for protecting other people? And we have done that. Like, we have done that somewhat, but
because there's libel suits and slander suits.
Yeah.
And I think
so.
A big part of it does, exactly. Like, those are good examples of saying, like, you have the freedom to say whatever, but there can be consequences for those actions, right?
Yeah.
So that's not
very much like you can't lie and then be totally free of consequences. You can lie, but there will be consequences.
And so I think a lot of people, cough cough, Joe Rogan, kind of don't understand that, especially when it comes to free speech, because they constantly use like the First Amendment as this end all be all. I can do and say whatever the hell I want. And it's like, that's not really what that is saying at all.
Yeah.
And people on the other side, and by the other side I mean like people that are very kind of loosey goosey with it, or if like trying to say that you can't do said thing, kind of goes into like what happened with WotC and stuff about like people demanding that they change the way they write stuff, right? So it's like people demanding that and a company doing it is not censorship. It's them caving to their community, and that's how business works. Do you want free market? That's how free market works. And I'm sad that people keep conflating that. Like, they're like, oh, they're trying to silence them. It's like, they're not. They're just telling them that they don't like what they're saying, and they're responding.
I think one way of looking at it is the First Amendment is the government itself cannot censor you.
Correct.
However, the citizens, if they deem it necessary, may take you to court.
and a big part of that is the reason that the First Amendment is so important, and I am an advocate for it, is that the people should be able to always be able to trash talk their government. I'm unhappy with XYZ. Like, the government can be criticized, and you should be able to say what you think the government should do.
Yeah.
Always. What you're not allowed to do is blatantly lie and make lies about people. That's against the law. That's not censorship if you're lying. So like they're like, Which is why people getting upset and huffy about WotC and stuff getting like told what people don't like is like it's not at all censorship in any way, shape, or form. Like, kid, what is it? I just put you on the ground. I'm so sad. I'm so sad.
It is censorship if somebody says a thing, especially if it is a true thing and the government says you can't say that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like, because the other side of that goes back to the murder thing, right? It's like,
Yep.
oh, government, you can't tell me what to do. Don't murder people. It's like, you can't tell me what to do. It's like, we're gonna punish you for that. And so that's why it's important that we have the First Amendment and copyright and like all the other parts of art, which is where AI is also just, who do you blame if AI goes off, right? Like if AI starts stealing people's artwork,
Yeah.
who do you go after? My freedom of speech is to create this tiny artificial program, cough cough child, and let it run amok. It's not my fault. It's the internet's fault. So I don't know. That was a weird tangent. We can kind of shift back, I think.
Let's
Shift
talk about
back to
something that
drawing.
I actually really like about Games Workshop.
Sure. Go for
Yeah.
it.
I love their Age of Sigmar new game they put out.
I have not. I have
It's-
no idea what. Here's my problem with Games Workshop. They produce so much crap. I have no idea what any of it is.
So, also, I never really answered Jude's question about the fantasy thing. So, they did kill off fantasy. There's this whole thing called the End Times. They brought it back, and it's now referred to as Warhammer: The Old World. So the gaming like setting is now back, and they're like revamping it. And because fantasy ended, which then led into Age of Sigmar, which Sigmar is like a big. He's sort of like the God Emperor, but like actually kind of better and gets stuff done. But yeah, it's on a more like cosmic scale things, and it's just like really kind of cool because you got a bunch of different factions and new orcs
Nice.
and mushroom goblins.
Are the mushroom goblins different than the orcs?
Yes, because the orcs are like actual mushrooms. The mushroom goblins just kind of grow mushrooms.
Oh, okay. But they're goblins, not orcs?
Yes,
How are the goblins different than the orcs?
they just are. I don't know
So,
because I know
so the
they're often
goblins
like
are-
in.
People?
I mean, all things are people.
Well, but then why are the orcs mushrooms?
Because that's just like the unique lore for Warhammer with their orcs is that they kind of spread around by spores.
Kid. Hey, what's going on? And tipped over.
Because like in
Okay.
fantasy, orcs and goblins are often kind of put in the same kind of faction called the Greenskins.
Right, that's what I thought. So I assumed they were the same.
Which
I don't think they are.
sounds very racist.
Yeah, I think it's just because the orcs had bullied the goblins into being in their armies.
Huh.
I hate that so much. Kid. I hear you. This kid needs a
Yeah.
nap real bad. I'll be right back. The thing I hate is the orc belief power. Like if I pick up this rock and believe it enough it's a gun, it's like great. It's magic, so it doesn't matter. Like that's totally fine.
Yeah. We'll say
But
that's not a thing in fantasy.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
No, it's only in 40k.
Weird. All
Which
right.
is
We'll need more
stupid.
talking about this then. Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Yep.
I don't know enough about Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Anything.
weird that I'm kind of the expert. Not have, it's just because I got interested in the minis and everything and wanted to paint
Yeah.
them.
It's not actually weird to me. You seem to me like a person who very much enjoys doing research, at the very least in things that tend to interest you, and those things I think, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but they tend to be things that have to do with lore and people's belief systems.
Oh yeah,
So it totally makes sense to me that you'd get sucked into something like Warhammer 40K or all of the Warhammers in general.
yeah. I definitely prefer fantasy over 40k because it's just you can actually have nice people
Yes.
that aren't just brutally murdered for being nice in Warhammer Fantasy. Like the setting is still very grim dark, but it's
Mhm.
just like it's feels a bit more hopeful.
Right. Have you heard anything about, has anything been announced yet about the how the Starfinder playtest has gone?
I know they're releasing a higher level adventure path playtest for it
Oh, cool.
soon.
That's exciting. I they're like the thing that I don't like about Starfinder is the thing that I've always kind of not liked about Starfinder, and that is just that it's all sci-fi kind of put in a barrel, like all kind of mushed together to make something that kind of reminds you of all of the other sci-fi that has ever existed. But the same
Mhm.
is true of fantasy Pathfinder, right? It's
Yeah.
just it's just very like it's designed to be so generic you can fit anything you want to play into it. Um, so I don't think that that's a fair criticism for me to say it for Starfinder, considering I like Pathfinder so much. So yeah, I'm trying to get hyped for it because I have not really done very much in the in a space opera setting, and I want to be the type of person who's open to it. Like I'm trying to expand my
Well, I will
horizons.
say,
Just
so
realized that Spotify
there's
wasn't working this whole time. Sorry.
so I was kind of wrong. Orcs and goblins are related, but like at least in fantasy they are. Also, there's no goblins in 40k. That's just so they are related. I don't know the details on them, but yeah, in fantasy, orcs don't have the weird. If they believe something, it's like real. That's
Okay.
like that's a thing uniquely related to like, I mean it's all in Warhammer, but like it feels more related to 40k, where like if enough people believe something, it becomes real. Because that's kind of like how one of the Chaos Gods came about.
I forgot that magic was called chaos too.
Well, not just. It's not really just called Chaos. It's just kind of like. If you're a human, it's all the same. But like, it's like. Magic kind of comes from the warp, which is where chaos lives.
Okay.
And then, like, fantasy, you had, like, the winds of magic, which definitely is related to chaos.
Gotcha. I want to point out this kid is totally fine if you guys hear him screaming. He is trying to go to bed, and the way he does that is by yelling wildly into the floor. And then he falls asleep. Don't ask me how this came about. This is just his process. I'm going to leave him to it.
So, I don't know if an orc believes a rock is a gun, it would become an actual gun. I know it's very related to, like, colors.
Okay,
So,
so
like-
I saw a YouTube short yesterday. This is where I'm getting my information from.
Yep,
So, like,
go ahead. I can always be wrong.
That's how their blasters work. Is like they think it's a gun, then it is a gun, and then they also put more. Color does have a huge factor to deal with it. Like red makes you go faster.
Yep.
I don't remember what the other one's colors were, but like, yeah, the belief system for them is like if they think this should work, it should work, and it does. So like all of their guns don't work for other people because they're just chunks of metal.
Yeah. They very much make like a gun-shaped weapon, but like it's like, well, this clearly works, and that's kind of like I do know that's how their like spaceships work. They're kind of just cobbled together wrecks.
Right.
And they're like, it flies. But yeah, it's a weird thing in 40k where it's like the God Emperor very much now is a literal god because so many people have been brainwashed to think that he was one, and ever since he was born, that he is now actually a god and gives that power.
That must be very frustrating for him, considering isn't it canon that he hated gods?
Oh yeah, he was a raging like atheist, and this is like the absurdity of like the humans in the setting is the emperor. The reason he disliked religion is because he believed all religion came from chaos, and so did all magic, and so he tried to stomp out all types of superstition. But like by doing so, he kind of creates more of it. So he actually like spreads chaos by trying to defeat chaos, which is a thing.
A cruel irony.
Yep. But now he's just a giant rotting skeleton on a golden throne with a text-to-speech voice.
Makes more witches by calling people witches.
Basically.
There's a demonic incursion. We should start looking for more witches. Look how many witches there are. There are way more than there were yesterday.
Yeah, like...
Stop it. Get some help.
Like, the Inquisition also, like, plays a big, massive role in the whole thing where it's like, if they find out that people find out about chaos, they will just nuke the whole planet and, like, destroy it. Because they're like, well, if people know about chaos, that spreads chaos. I'm like, that's been proven time again. That's just not how it works.
They've been infected by the socialism.
Basically.
Okay, oh,
yeah.
That's dangerous. You gotta move, kid.
I rather like play any other faction than the Empire because it feels.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I don't know what faction I would like to play, but
I would totally play the humans.
You probably would like the Imperial Guard. They're just normal ass soldiers. Army men.
Tolerates being a loose term. Yep.
what's the Zerg analog?
What are Zergs?
The bug things.
Starcraft.
Oh, Tyranids.
Tyranids, yeah, that's
The
right.
bug witches.
I might enjoy the Tyranids. Although the Zerg were my least favorite faction in StarCraft.
Yeah. You got the Tyranids, and they
I'll be right back.
recently, like in the past, like, I don't know, 6 years, spawned off a new faction from them called the Gene Stealer Cults. They're kind of interesting.
Yeah. I've been told a little bit about them.
They're kind of like, they almost always start out as like a popular rebellion. That's how they like take over. They'll like get all the huddled masses of a hive world and like take over the entire planet in like a essentially almost like a communist revolution, which is great.
Hmm. Hey, Elliot. Welcome to Games Workshop Talk. It's promise it's not political. We've moved on from that.
Yep. They also recently added space dwarves who worship AI.
I heard about that because didn't they have a faction of space dwarves way back in the day, but they got like completely obliterated in canon, and then they just recently brought them back.
Yeah, they were called squats, which just sounds so
That sounds
racist.
bad. Yep, that sounds bad.
Yep. So the new ones are called the Leagues of Volton. Voltons are these massive AI, like sentient AI machines that they worship as their ancestors.
Mhm.
And all of them are clones. Like all the living dwarves are clones. But they're not like, they don't all look the same, but they're like, each of them are like made from this vast gene bank. So it's like they'll like mix and match all the different DNA to get a new one, but they are pretty much grown in a tube.
Interesting.
They also really hate the weird tech priests in the Empire, because
Yeah.
the Empire also has like an anti-AI thing, so they're just like, they don't mention any of the AI stuff.
He was literally just like sitting on his hands and knees in the middle of the floor, just like screaming. I put a blanket on him and he just passed out.
Great.
Death has come for me.
Yeah. The Leagues of Volton are pretty cool. They also like will like build like AI robots, and like they're considered like full members of their group, so like full citizens. So it's just like a non-issue. It's like, oh, they may be a robot, but they're still our brother.
That's bullshit.
What? Why?
You can't just be built and have full. Like, talk about privilege. Holy crap. Like, oh, what did you do to earn all of this status? I was born a perfect being. Okay.
But
Nobody ever said they were default perfect beings.
Yep. Also, I will say, I don't know if you heard this, all these space lords are all clones. So,
They're living in Gattaca.
yeah. I think the most absurd part about them is that they live near the galactic core.
Okay.
So
But
it's just
they were hidden away all this time in the galactic core.
basically, yes.
That does not
And
make
it's why they're like, that explains, and that's their reasoning for explaining why they're so short and dense.
Great. That actually sounds pretty good. Look, that's a good.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans were initially wary of them at first, but then it's like they started putting out more stuff about them, and they're like, "Oh no, they're cool."
Paizo is getting rid of Drow,
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
which kind of makes me sad, but that's okay. Like I'll live.
Yeah,
I'm sure once they figure out a way to not do or to do a deep elf that does not have to look like the Drow,
Well-
they'll have something for us. But like, honestly, I understand the nostalgia thing with Drow, but I think it's a really smart decision for them to be like, you know what, we need to move in a different direction.
Yeah.
Well, we'll put them down, and it's not, and the Drow aren't gone forever. They're just like they've said they're not going to publish any new Drow stuff. So
Yeah.
that's all. All of the old stuff is still there. It's still canon. They're not retconning them away.
Yeah. It's
The
James
original
Jacobs.
squats were eliminated by the Nids at the galaxy's edge. And none of that was
Yeah.
real words.
It only makes sense if you know a little bit about the Warhammer lore. So
You're in
the
the
squat, yeah, the squats are the galactic dwarven species.
Okay.
And Games Workshop had them in lore. They existed for a while, and then canonically they were completely obliterated.
Yeah.
And they have not been in the game for a long time. And then like a year ago, they got brought back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that
Also,
the
the
clone
Nids are
people? Is
the
that what you're talking
Tyranids.
about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the clone species.
That's what World of Warcraft did.
What?
Yeah.
This
Explain.
expansion, we find like the ancient primal dwarves that are all weird robot clones of
Uh,
the Titans. Like the Titans made them.
also, would like to let you know you still have the BRB
Oh,
sign up.
There we go.
But yeah, they're actually. If I was to ever play Warhammer, I probably would want to like make a dwarf army because they actually seem pretty cool.
Those are some of the first figures I ever bought. Little pewter dwarves. I still have them somewhere.
How is it to put together a pewter mini? Because I definitely see like pieces of them like separated. Like, does super glue work on it?
You usually would solder them over super glue. But that's not hard because pewter's really soft.
Yeah.
So I have definitely melted a few pewter figures.
Yeah, because pewter has a very low melting point on its
Yeah.
own, doesn't it? I
Let's go.
always forget. Pewter is a mix of. It's mostly tin, right?
Tin and lead, I think.
That's what I thought. Maybe a little bit of a very small bit of silver. I'm not sure.
Warcraft being the generic brand, yeah.
Either.
Yep.
I will research.
And like I have no idea who did it first, but it would not surprise me if either Warhammer or like if either Games Workshop or Blizzard decided, hey, this other company has done this thing. We can do something similar.
Oh, Blizzard is a content thief, like 100%.
Yeah. Well, so is Games Workshop.
Yep. So
Which is why they try so hard to prevent anybody else from infringing on their copyright.
No, you're infringing.
Yeah. Just like Disney. How dare you steal these things that we got from the open commons?
Yep.
So I did a quick Google. Tin is like not tin, but pewter is like 85 to 99% tin,
Mm-hmm.
with some versions containing antimony, copper, bismuth, and sometimes silver.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
In the past, the alloy was tin and lead, but
Okay.
most modern
Yeah.
pewter is.
I was gonna say,
Doesn't
I knew
have
there was a
lead in it.
lead-free version of pewter now for like mugs and stuff, but
Yeah. Man, antimony is the element on the periodic table that I think about least. Not the metal. Out of all of the elements, it's the one I think about the least.
that's how it gets you.
Yep.
Yeah, because like you should always be wary of like pewter antiques from like
Oh,
the
yeah,
1800s, because
Yeah.
it's just like this might kill you.
Uranium.
But how else are we gonna get that lovely shade of yellow?
Yep.
Oh man, have you seen uranium glazed pottery?
That's what we're talking about, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it like uranium was one of uranium and lead were for a very long time basically and cadmium basically the only reliable ways to get yellow, orange, and like a bright cherry red.
Oh, interesting. I thought lead was used for its whiteness.
Lead rust
Yeah,
was.
Lake
Oxide?
white lead.
Can we use the real terms? Oxide, please. Thank you.
It's a rust.
Rust is technically only iron oxide. And things that go green, it's verdigris.
Patina. Da, 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 da.
But yeah, lead gets a lot of very interesting interactions in glass when under heat.
How much does it cost to run like a tiny kiln?
You can get like a tabletop desk kiln, and you can run it off of an oven outlet, and it'll draw the same amount of energy as an oven.
Okay, so you need like 212 though.
Yeah.
Whatever that's called.
Yes.
I have to now ask because I was watching Mythbusters last night, and it was the episode about the where they were shattering glass with the human voice.
Sure.
Yep.
Is lead crystal toxic?
No.
No.
Okay.
Uranium pottery also is not toxic. The uranium is bound up. It is radioactive, but the uranium does not leach out of the glass. Neither does lead usually,
But
unless
the radiation does.
the radiation does not leach. It radiates.
Yes, I mean, okay.
But yeah, so you're gonna get radiation poisoning, not poisoning. Is the point. But yeah, so uranium pottery is not toxic unless it chips.
Yeah.
In which case it can leach. Lead is generally not toxic unless there's acidic food. In the same way that aluminum becomes toxic when you leave acidic food in it or on it for a while.
9 times out of 10, radiation's actually not that bad for you.
Yeah,
Like we're exposed to radiation all the time because we've been exposed to radiation all the time for millions of years. So our
Yes,
body's pretty good at keeping most radiations out. There are certain wavelengths that are not produced in nature abundantly, so we're not protected from them as well.
Yeah.
And so the problem with radiation is when it gets into your body, and by that I mean like in your lungs or in your organs. So if you're eating something that has uranium paint on it and you ingest the paint, that radiation is now past your biological radiation protection filters, i.e. your skin, and it's just sitting next to your stomach. Can cause all kinds of bad things. That's a big problem with
The girls who would paint on the glowing components of watches.
Yep, it
But,
wasn't
yeah,
that they were painting watches that with radioactive paint, it's that they were licking the paintbrushes because that's how it worked. And that dissolved their gums and jaws. So water is special, that's why osmosis, and everyone else has to settle for diffusion. Yeah, there you go. Water is pretty cool.
Oh god.
Water is very cool.
That reminds me of this other radiation related thing. So there was this quack pseudo doctor who was selling I can't remember what he called it. I think he just called it radium. Like radium water.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was water just heated with radiation. And so you're just ingesting dirty water.
When right after you did it, the water glowed in the dark, and light is great. Light makes things grow, so light must be healthy for you. Put it in your body. That was that was his selling point. Light must be good.
And then
put it in your body.
A rather like famous baseball player drunk it a lot and like his like jaw fell off.
Yeah, not
And
good.
like had to be buried in a lead, not just lead line, just a solid lead casket because it was too scary to let him just sit in the ground.
Ah,
It's the same problem with nuclear fallouts and stuff. Like most people didn't die of radiation from the blast, and
Yeah,
even like
it was-
going into Chernobyl, which is like highly radiated,
Mm.
not really that bad for you in small doses. But the problem is if you start breathing in like radioactive dust particles that get in your lungs, or you start drinking water that's been contaminated by it, or it rains after a nuclear fallout, like that's really what the fallout is the small particles that start settling that then kind of get kicked up and ingested by people and animals, and that's where like long-term radiation poisoning happens. Because like high dose radiation just kills you. You don't have any symptoms. You just kind of die.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
The
that sucks.
Chernobyl miniseries on HBO.
I still haven't
If you
watched
want
that
to
yet.
see-
Is it good?
I liked it.
I like the
kinda-
actors.
Pisses me off
Oh yeah, it was a horrible thing.
yeah,
because
and-
it's just there's so many people who are like, this was your job to prevent this, and you did nothing.
well, yeah, because it was run by the Communist Party.
This
And
is
it's
why
just
we
like-
can't let the government run things.
Or big business, because people who have a vested interest in not letting the truth come out should not be in charge of letting the truth come out.
Yeah. Because it was the accident definitely happened because of
Neglect.
neglect, but however, it was always going to be doomed to fail because the type of plant that was built.
Yeah, I thought it
had
had
a
something to do with like
fail-
the concrete and the fail safes were all bad.
Okay, so I had a long conversation with this with my brother about this. So from what I understand, it specifically has to do with the difference between graphite and lead. Within a nuclear reactor, you can, or most of the time, you use lead in order to shield the rods and stop a reaction, because lead will block everything. You can also use graphite though. The problem is that graphite, it has like a curve to it. So when graphite first is used to block the radiation, it causes a temperature spike, and then when the reaction is blocked for long enough, then the temperature goes back down. So the problem with the Chernobyl reactor was specifically that they had to cut costs, and graphite is much cheaper than lead. So the fail-safe was built with covers for the rods was built with graphite and not lead. That's the most critical point, and it should have been lead. So Chernobyl was also they were pushing it beyond its normal working parameters, which means that the reaction was also the cores were becoming sick, I believe is the actual term. So the reactions weren't they were pushing too much power output, and so the reactions were not complete. So there was a lot of unreacted material, and that makes the likelihood of a massive temperature spike with graphite even more likely. And so what happened is when they finally pushed the reactor too far and it started to go bad, they finally hit the fail-safe button in order to stop the reaction. The rods descended into the graphite covers, and then there was a temperature spike, and the water flash. There was an explosion inside, a steam explosion inside, because at that point, all the rod casings became pipe bombs, and then the reaction could not be stopped, and then it ran away and continued to be a pipe, and then turned the entirety of the system into an electric generator size pipe bomb, and that's when the entire thing exploded. And all of the fire that happened, I believe, was hydrogen from the water, the atoms in the water being split.
What was your question, Corvus, about Mythbusters? Oh, lead glass. I'm trying to remember how we got here.
Yes.
It had something to do with Mythbusters.
Because I asked if it was like safe to actually use like crystal, because
Yeah.
Crystal is really cool because it is stable.
Yeah. There's also a very, very small amount of lead.
okay.
Yeah. So it's lead is used as the flux in most of like window glass. Sodium soda is used as the flux. In this instance, flux is defined as an element that lowers the melting temperature of the other elements around it. So normally we have soda lime glass. They use sodium and calcium as additions to the silica.
What color flag would Santa have?
That is a good question. What flag would Santa have?
So I want his hat to show up. Maybe it should be a white flag with a blue taper? Or a blue flag with a white taper? Let's take a look. So we do something like this and like desaturate it. Make it feel very chilly. Make it green just because. Christmas. I don't like green. I don't like green at all. We're gonna go.
Should he have marching reindeer on either side, like the marching griffins on some Eastern European or Western European flags?
That sounds like a lot more work I have to put.
It is, which is why you should not take that suggestion seriously.
Easter egg.
I'm just trying to make a joke. Anyway, lead crystal is the same formula, except they use lead instead of soda for the flux.
Lead is the same issue with radiation. Body's pretty good at not dying to lead unless you put it in your body.
Yeah.
And then your body doesn't know what to do with it. It's like, I guess I'll put this in the brain. It's like, don't do that. Don't fucking put that in your brain. It's like, I don't know what else to do.
Yeah. Mercury's pretty similar.
Yeah. All of the heavy metals are.
Yeah.
The particles are too big for your body to break them down. And then your body's like, oh, I'll leave it in the kidney. And then your kidney dies. You just gotta do a chemical cleanse. How do you do that? You just shit yourself.
Oh God, that was actually a thing.
Oh yeah, it's still a thing. Like,
well, so specifically with mercury, that was the thing. There was this U.S. doctor back in the 1800s, something Benjamin. He was a founding father too.
Not Benjamin Franklin? Or yes?
Not Benjamin Franklin, a different Benjamin.
Other Benjamin, all
right. He kind of like supplied Lewis and Clark with like medicines, and one of them was what he called Dr. Benjamin's bilious or thunderclappers, because they were and they were chalk and mercury pills.
Oh, good.
That would make you essentially purge your whole body. I was like, well, yeah, because you're literally ingesting mercury. What else are your body's probably going to do?
Poison.
Other than die.
Get rid of it. I love...
Yeah.
Here's something that I think about more often than I should. That I kind of want to happen and has not happened yet. I love the idea of like Gundams and specifically the robots from Evangelion. Just like, what if we made a giant robot based around a human, right? It's like, that robot's gotta poop. One way or another, that robot's gotta poop, right? Like, cars just exhaust out the back. They're pooping. Cars driving down the road are pooping. They're just toot, 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 toot. And so I always think it's funny that, like, you have giant mecha robot, and it's just like, I gotta purge all the waste, and just tooting, and it's funny, and I don't know why giant robots farting is hilarious to me. But I love that idea, and it's not yet been put in an anime. Maybe it was in Gurren Lagann a little bit. I think they pooped somebody out in Gurren Lagann, but
They definitely pooped somebody out in an episode of Dexter's Laboratory.
okay. What was the other one? Fooly Cooley had an episode where the kid merged with the robot, and then when the robot was done with him, he would poop the kid out. It was really fun. Wow.
I did not like Fully Cooley. I watched one episode. I was like, nope.
Did you watch the old one or the new one? Because the new one's real weird.
I don't know.
Okay.
It was like the guy like had a pimple horn that turned into a robot.
That was the first one. It was
just
I don't know. I can't tell people to watch Fooly Cooley because it's like it's an angsty. It's all about like kind of growing up, and so like I watched it when it came out at a really good time in my life to be an angsty young kid, and so it like resonated well with me. And I've tried to have other people watch it. They're like, "What the fuck is this?" And it's like, yeah, I guess maybe it's just kind of a like time of life thing that made this good for me. Music's great.
His name was Benjamin Rush. I figured his name out.
Gotcha. Robots pooping. Super funny. That's all I gotta say. Same thing with I loved in Armor Core 2 or 3, they added heat sinks, and like one of the items you could get was just a heat dump. And so like if you started overheating your mech, you could just purge all of the like vent all the heat out. And I was like, that's awesome. Like that's smart. I love this idea. And yeah. I think about these things. I don't know why. We're getting somewhere. I'm kind of wondering if I should tip him. Is he a little crookedy? That's better.
I don't think so, but he kind of feels like it because of the angle of the pole.
The center of mass on the piece itself is kind of off.
Yeah.
I want to make these silver bells, but I feel like I need to just make them gold. Because they'll look better gold.
Do you know what the background's going to be like? Because you got a lot of light tones here, so it kind of...
That's true. I didn't think about that. I might need to darken up the armor and stuff.
Yeah.
I do think I want to make the armor this color, the color of the spear. So that I think will help.
Okay.
Let's just do that right now, before I forget. Got the hiccups. I'm gonna take a quick break while the kid is asleep and go like fill up my water glass and use the restroom and stuff. So everybody hang tight. I'm gonna take a quick 5-minute break and I'll be right back. Should I just leave it? I should just leave it like this. Hey. Hey guys. I'll be right back. Hang tight, everybody.
Not my peppermint paladins. I get that reference, Elliot.
And then there was silence.
Yep. Ah, my run of Poke Rogue finally ended.
Oh yeah, I forgot. 40K also has hobbits.
It does?
Yeah, they're called ratlings.
That's not very nice.
And like they they have hairy feet, hairy arms, mutton chops. They're just straight up hobbits. It's crazy.
Alright, I'm finally ready to go on to my drawing. 2 hours later.
2 hours later. What are you drawing?
More tokens for my character. I need to,
Ah.
which reminds me, I need to talk to Dagon and get my character sheet built out in Foundry.
I'm getting the itch to run a D&D game. Yeah, I'm welcome in. And I haven't wanted to step on your toes because we haven't played in a while. And I was like, whoa. When do I be
Getting
like,
that
I want to play a
itch.
game?
I mean, you're allowed. Especially since, like, Burning is not going to be... Burning is working this Saturday, so we won't be playing again.
Oh, okay. Well, I could run a one-shot this Saturday and see if people like the idea.
Yeah, if you wanted to, sure. And then I'm willing to, like, if you wanted, we could swap off times. We could like go for a stretch in my campaign and then go for a stretch in your campaign, and
Yeah, we can try that.
or we could try different days. I know you don't have a lot of time though, so.
Corvus, did you get your 5e Phil?
Not particularly because we didn't do much of anything. That's not me blaming you. It's just
Did we did the... I did my mist campaign with you guys, right? The one
Yeah.
shot?
Yeah.
most of it was in the inn, the tavern.
Yeah.
And then there was the brief scuffle with the cloaker.
So
Or whatever it
Cloaker,
was.
Yeah.
The creepy manta ray things.
Yeah. Which I still think that was such an excellent choice of a creature to take a step farther and make it truly an eldritch horror.
kind of want to expand on that universe. The Ashfond campaign is also like I really like where I started with that. Like I made a really good little localized world for it.
Yeah, well, we didn't see any of that.
Right.
Of that world. We like.
I mean, I invented that. That world was originally designed for a different campaign where you start outside of the tower, and getting trapped in the tower was kind of one of the options. Like if you started pissing off the town guards, you would get conscripted.
Right.
And it just never happened. And I'm like, I'm just gonna start in the tower. But in doing so, people don't get to like get the feel for the world outside, which
Yeah.
I really liked. This is so chunky. Why is it so chunky? Get.
Where's the strongest?
What is this bullshit?
No, missed as in the weird Stephen King movie?
Yeah. Did you not watch the movie? I told you to go watch it.
No. I've explained how I am. If someone tells me to watch something, I'm gonna do everything in my power not to watch it.
Yeah, I think we're the same in that respect.
What are you saying, that we three are old men who don't take advice?
How much is that microphone you're saving up for? I actually, it's $70. I found a $140 microphone that was a refurbished one for $70 because it was on sale and refurbished, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" So I bought it because my other microphone exploded. I'm currently using Jump Rope's microphone, so I had 2 microphones blow up in a week, partially because my good one died, and I went back to the old one, which was already bad, and that's why I replaced it. So now I'm using the 3rd microphone, and the new one should be here tomorrow. So
Exciting.
I have not yet been paid this month by a couple people, so I'm waiting. I'm waiting for paychecks, and yeah, not nice the blowing up of the nice, but I found a cheaper option. Yeah. I was really excited. I was gonna get another Yeti, and they were on sale for like $90 or something. But then the Yeti X, which was on sale for like $120. There was a refurbished one of those, and I was just like, you know what? Let's try it. If it's cheaper than the normal one and it's supposed to be better, let's do it. I've had pretty good luck with refurbished stuff, so we will give it a go. See how it sounds. And if it sucks, I'll give it to Jump Rope and I'll use hers. So. I don't like this blue anymore.
Was about to donate more so y'all could get it, was why I was asking.
I mean,
Well,
I still haven't paid for it yet.
Yeah.
I will always accept more donations. The no-nos are very much appreciated. Feel free to super chat any of the shorts. Supposedly that's a thing you can do. Give me like an hour. Yeah, no problem. I don't know if I'll be here in an hour. What time is it? 1 o'clock? The kid's still asleep. He's going to wake up and I'm going to have to feed him. So we could probably wait for that to happen and then try to do another viewer suggestion and then probably call it after that. So we'll do our best. Set a PayPal or something. I mean, if you want, you could commission something. You want to commission something? Commissions are open. I should be working on these. These are all the saga things.
Mm.
There's a cat locked outside. I can hear him.
Caterwauling.
Yelling at me. Hold on a second.
Having just opened my painting that I have not touched since, I don't know, it was the last time I talked to you about it. Corvus was about like a little over a week ago.
I believe so.
I have learned that I can actually paint the way I want. I just can't see it immediately after I've done it. That is both reassuring and frustrating.
No, it's been a while, so yeah. It's like last Thursday.
Yeah. I know it wasn't the week before that because I was not talking to anybody then.
Nope.
Started raining and Pixel was locked outside.
Haha.
No! Please! You get your paycheck. Paid on a Wednesday. That's pretty nice. I do, from time to time, miss steady paychecks. Only a few times in my life have I had steady paychecks, but they're nice. Working at the restaurant when I was a server was always a crapshoot. This is like some days you get paid in tips, so whenever you got a paycheck, it was like either like, yeah, $200, holy crap, or it was like, you owe us $3, and it's like, neat.
You can kiss my ass. You ain't getting that $3.
That was back when I made $2.25 or $2.15. I made $2.15, I think, at the first restaurant job I worked. Because Idaho is a right-to-work state, which doesn't mean what you think it means.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does right to work mean? It means that I have a right to workers at my business, and I can fire them whenever I want. Tomorrow is the designer chat for Draw Steel. Nice. Are they going to design like art design or designing more stuff in the book? I ate too much of the pizza. Oof, I did. I ate way too much.
This AI response, because I also had to like look it up just to make sure I knew what it was. It's kind of misleading. Right to work law is a state law that allows employees to work for a company without joining a union or paying dues. I was like, okay, there's
It's a
more
right
to it
work.
than that.
You shouldn't have to pay anybody to work. But really, what it means is you're not in a union, and all the power is on the employer. So
Yep.
like they can fire you for no reason, absolutely no reason, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
They have a Q&A with the game devs. Nice. That'll be fun. Sorry, that was my salty working in Idaho is sucks. Very few worker related things.
Yeah.
We get it, you're liberal.
It's also such a misleading name because it's like there's the international like human right called right to work, and then it's just the U.S. version that's just like we have the right to fire you for whatever damn reason we want.
What was the?
Yeah. It's very
Just bad in Utah.
deliberately.
Yeah, Idaho and
written
Utah are
that
actually
way, right?
pretty similar when it comes to, well, most things.
The best place I ever worked actually in terms of my rights as a worker was Target because they follow California law.
Oh, jeez. Target, which is funny in Idaho. Like, I had a bunch of friends that worked at Target, and like everybody I knew that worked at Target hated their job and just kind of like phoned it in.
Oh, absolutely.
It was,
Right, like that was definitely still true, but they had a very strict policy about managers not being allowed to deny you breaks, or pay time off or sick leave, which are not things that I was ever allowed basically to have in any of my other jobs.
Especially if you're
Part-time.
like a waiter.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't work today. Tough shit. Come in. It's like, well, I'm dying. They're like, I don't care. Come in. Get every single person that works here sick, and then they'll all suffer together.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
I have explosive diarrhea. It is technically against federal law for you to make me work. I don't care. Get your ass in here.
I had to I don't want to talk about it. I take it back.
Moving on.
Yeah. There's a reason I don't work in kitchens anymore. I kind of miss it, but I don't miss that part of it.
Yeah. I don't miss having to do the work of 3 people because they couldn't afford to hire the 3 people that they were required to do the job.
Hardcore.
Excuse me, they said they couldn't afford to hire
Yeah.
the 3 people.
California businesses in
Required to do
Utah
that.
are single-handedly keeping wages a bit higher. Nice.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I also feel like this month has gone by so slowly.
It's been a long month.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've lost a good 2 weeks to illness. It seems like it has flown by for me.
I was gonna say, I think it was more like 3 weeks. I don't think we've seen you for 2 or 3. Well, maybe it was longer.
No, yeah. I don't think I've been here for in the call for about 3 weeks. You're right, but yeah, it's for about the last 2 weeks I have my body has required me to sleep at least 12 hours a day. And there were days where I slept 18 to 20 hours a day. So I when I say I lost about 2 weeks, I legit mean I lost about 2 weeks. When my thyroid goes off, it goes off.
I went to the dentist today, and I hadn't realized how my eye's doing much better, But the last time I was at the dentist, I remember thinking about the last time I was at the dentist. So it's like 6-month interval checks, right? Like a year ago, I still couldn't really see out of my right eye. 6 months ago, I remember it being weird, but like was functional. And now I was like, oh, you know, I didn't really notice it today. So that's good. It's a good improvement. So it's interesting to like have those kind of moments of direct comparison. But yeah, illnesses suck.
What's like worse is going to the doctor and having to not tell you anything until you have to wait like
Yep.
2 to 3 weeks.
Well, everything looks normal, so we're just gonna, you know, just watch it. And if there's any problems, come back. I can't function. No, it's normal. I promise. No.
Yeah. I didn't have the most friendliest of technicians when I was doing my ultrasound. She was, I don't know, a bit terse, I guess.
Yeah, I think the ultrasound techs are kind of in a weird spot because they're not legally allowed to talk to you about what they're finding, which is hyper frustrating.
Yeah.
And because I walked in when I had to get mine done for my liver, I was just like, oh, so what are you doing? She's like, I can't really talk to you about it. I'm like, oh, you can't even like tell me what your job is? Like, I just want to know what's actually going on. And then the whole time she was sitting there like, writing things down. I'm like, what are you writing down? She's like, I can't talk to you about it. I'm like, this is stupid. This is stupid and I hate it.
Happy she did not do that. But the part that was kind of a bit unnerving was the fact that it would be like click, and you would like almost hear like a camera sound.
Yeah, they're taking pictures.
Yeah. And then there will be like a long pause. She'll tilt her head, move it a little bit, and I was like, and then highlight something, and then go on. I was like,
yep.
What was that?
Don't feel too bad about that, because a lot of it is, and what I've learned since then is basically they have a checklist of like, we need 15 pictures of each of these specific ways that the thing's supposed to look. So they're looking for a specific part or something in your stomach, or in my case, my liver, finding it, looking at it, getting the exact right angle of it, and then taking a screenshot of it. Then they have to label it and mark it down and be like, okay, and now we're going to move back over here to the other side, get another angle of that same spot. And it's just like, I wish you would have told me that. While it would have made me feel much better had you just...
Yeah.
Hi, kid.
It just...
Good morning. Yeah? Oh, happy kid. That was a long nap. You did a good job. You hungry? No, just here. Sorry.
Yeah, I do hope I hear back from my doctor soon.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, one can only hope.
Yeah. If not, I'll call.
The alternative is I had a hernia a little while back when I was still working at the restaurant. And I kept, like, the doctor's like, I don't know, you might have a hernia. I'm like, well, that doesn't help me. And they're like, we're going to send you to a specialist. And I walked in, and within 2 seconds, the doctor's like, all right, well, let's have a look. And, like, stabbed me in the hernia. And, and they were like, yep, you have a hernia, we'll do surgery. And I was just like, oh my god, that felt super weird. And they're like, yep, that's all we need to do, we're good to go, we can go now. I was like, all right. that was 2.5 weeks of waiting and worrying, and you literally just did it and done. Here we go.
It's almost frustrating to go to like a general practitioner because they're like, we'll send you to a specialist. Like, can't you see something wrong? Like, give me an idea.
Yeah, I think that part of that is that, like, in the last 20 or so years, medical science has come so far that I think general practitioners are kind of like in this position where they can tell something's wrong, but kind of don't necessarily have all of the information, and so there's this this idea of better safe than sorry. Send them to somebody who's for sure knows what this is.
Especially with like the amount of, even for my eye doctor, right? Like my thing that happened to me was just one day, like there was blood in my eye. I couldn't see. It just happened. It just happened after a live stream. And oh, poor kid. And I called my eye doctor, and he's like, "Ooh, that sounds like a lot of things, but I don't want to freak you out. I'm just gonna send you right to a specialist. We're not gonna speculate. Go see him on Monday. Like it's just that's it. Like we're just gonna do it." And sure enough, like as soon as I talked to the specialist, they went and looked at my eye. They did all the things. I talked to my doctor, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, that's kind of what I thought it was." But like, regardless of whether or not my doctor was the one that diagnosed it, I still would have had to have gone to the specialist and then gone because I had to get surgery. So I still would have had to see my doctor, then see the doctor I already saw, and then talk about having surgery with that doctor, right? So they're like, let's just cut out all the bullshit. Go talk to the person that can most quickly address this. And so, like, with an MR, like what you had of the scan, right? Like, sure, anybody could scan that, but like, unless someone knows exactly what they're looking for, it would just, they'd have to pass it around a little more. So I do think specialized medicine is good. I've had a lot of good experiences with it now. I mean, like, only after bad, horrible things happen, right? But like, I like that better than when I was in Idaho, and it was very much my doctor being like, well, let's try some stuff. And it's like, well, great. And then eventually they just send you to a specialist anyways.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't hate specialist doctors. It's just
Tiny man.
It's just frustrating whenever you have like. So, I had like really bad bout of like tonsillitis. I think that's the term. When I was really young, and the doctors were just like, "Oh, he just has a sore throat. He has a cold or it's allergies. That's it." It just kept passing it along. It went on for like over a year, and then they're like, they finally budged and like sent in had a specialist come in. He's like, "Yeah, no, you need surgery like tomorrow." They're like,
Jesus Christ.
"There's no waiting. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m."
That's kind of scary. That means that it was potentially dangerous, like maybe sepsis.
Possibly, I don't remember. I was really young.
I mean, you could have just had a really bad case of tonsillitis.
Yeah, because it was like
sometimes
they just
you don't
fully
have to
removed
have
them,
surgery on
and as well as the adenoids, which I don't know what adenoids are.
Little subjunctions for your tonsils.
Stuff my body doesn't need.
You gonna eat the microphone? What if I give you this one that's broken? Does that work? Can I trick you that way? Want to push the button? Oop, button fell off. That's not good. Oh, well, okay, that's way more broken than I thought it was. There we go.
I also ended up meeting the specialist again because whenever I had to have tubes put in my ears, because ear, nose, and throat doctors,
Yeah.
same specialty.
Yep.
Which is, I get that they all kind of run together or can. It's weird that it's a.
Yeah, it's all the sinus cavity.
Yeah.
What was the thing with the eye doctor? They basically had to use lasers to fix my eyeballs.
Laser beams.
And he was basically saying, like, the lasers I have in my office are way more sensitive than the ones in the hospital. So I would like to do that. And I was like, huh, that's weird. So another part of it is just, functionality. If whatever we're gonna do to you is something that can be done in the office, is it better to do it in the office or have someone who has, like, the proper surgical equipment do it? So, who knows? Who knows?
Presumably the doctor knows.
Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully the doctor knows. One of my friends is an optometrist? Yeah.
An eye doctor?
An eye doctor. And when I every time I went to the specialist that would like bring back my medical reports and give it to him, and he's like, "Oh, interesting." But a whole lot of it was like, "Yeah, I never deal with this shit." Like this is just like if I see something like this, I immediately send them to a retinal specialist. It's like cool, because yeah, he just doesn't have to deal with it. I make sure you have glasses and track your eyeballs to make sure they stay healthy. When your eyeball explodes, not my job anymore. It's like, you got a case of eyeball exploding.
Yeah, my dentist is like that. If you want your teeth cleaned and preventative care and cavities filled, sure. When you need a root canal or a tooth pulled, oral surgeon.
What was that? What was that?
Hiya.
You hungry, boy? Yeah.
I'm getting hungry.
All right, I got a tiny hunger man. Give me a second.
Roto lasers.
Be right back.
Man, I just remembered because of the laser thing you said.
Mm-hmm.
I just remembered. I was watching. What was I watching? Oh, I was watching a YouTube channel where a guy was making a laminar flow rocket, a rocket engine, and it was very cool. And I had a thought, like, lasers are very interesting, but they don't go super far because photons have a tendency to spread.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, like, I guess a laser is inherently a laminar flow beam of light, but what I wonder how focused we could get it. We could get a beam. What's the most laminar flow we could possibly get on a laser beam? And I broke my brain thinking of it, and now I pull it back up every time I think of lasers, and it is absolutely stupid, right? Like, it's nothing.
I would have to take your word for it. I had no idea what you're talking about.
Laminar flow is the like, when a stream of water is moving so fast and so perfectly that it just looks like a a curved ice crystal it looks like it's sitting perfectly still, but it's got a flow of water.
Mm-hmm.
Laminar flow is that it's a super stable flow where the forces on it are balanced so well that it does not experience any sort of spray or deviation.
Mm-hmm.
It moves in a very nearly perfect, very nearly frictionless path.
Let's see.
Oof. What is that?
It's a weapon from Starfinder. It's a plasma Dashko.
It's a lightsaber axe, is what it is.
Yes, it is. Unlike the traditional Dashko, this pulp axe uses blades of magnetically stabilized plasma that spin and cleave through multiple enemies with these. Though my favorite Starfinder weapon so far is this ridiculous thing called the Pain Glaive.
Oh yeah, we talked about it. It's a that to me just looks like a Monster Hunter weapon, right?
Oh yeah, they also. I am surprised that weapon does not exist in like 40k.
Yeah,
They do like their chain swords.
because there's something like that in one of the Final Fantasy games. I think it's Final Fantasy 12.
It's a chainsaw sword or chainsaw axe.
It's a even worse than that. It's a chainsaw circle at the end of a on the end of a staff.
Oh god.
It's a banga weapon. They're basically super chunky lizard folks.
Oh, that's funny because the Dashko is a type of weapon that's used by the Vesk, who are space lizards.
Oh,
Big, beefy space alien or
Yeah.
lizards. That is, I kind of hate it.
yep. It's terrible, right?
It's, mm-mm-mm.
It's so Final Fantasy, right?
Oh yeah.
I just found an illustration of one, but it's a bubble blower. Because that's what it looks like, right?
It does.
Stupid bubble wands. Yep, anyway.
It's alright.
We've had conversations about the chain glaive before, and that was immediately what I thought of, but I didn't know that apparently that's what it was based off of. Oh damn, these are the, what are they called again?
The Vesk,
The Vesk.
Vesk.
Interesting.
They have like a galactic empire type deal. They're very militaristic. And yeah, they're just beefy space lizards.
Yeah, I mean pulling it back to Warhammer. This just looks like Warhammer armor.
Oh yeah. I'll be honest, I like it a little bit better than Warhammer armor because it's not. It's just so chunky,
Mm-hmm.
and at least that one has a bit of like not just like. Obviously, that's chunky as well, but like it's broken up.
Yeah, yeah.
Warhammer armor is just not that broken up. It's just like slabs of iron.
The kiddo
Yeah.
just about got smacked by Pixel.
Oh no.
Pixel is getting really good at like sitting next to the boy, and he'll reach out and like pet him. And we've trained him like soft. He would go soft, and he just like pets. And every now and again, he's just like, "I'm gonna put the cat in my mouth." We're like, "Don't do that," and he'll just like grab Pixel, just both fists, and just like try to shove it into his mouth. And Pixel was like, "Oh, I'm gonna whack him!" And I was like, "Yeah." And I had to separate them.
Oh geez, that's hilarious.
Truly brothers.
What happened? What are you saying? What's going on?
Also, apparently one of the core races for Starfinder is the Ahsoki,
Oh, cool.
who also have both the normal rat folk feats from Pathfinder, but also their own unique space ones.
Awesome. I'm excited about that, and it totally makes sense to me. Like rats live anywhere and in everything. I love that Isoki are one of the primary species for Starfinder.
Somebody
That's a decision I would have made. Sorry, go ahead.
Somebody posted the other day that one D&D is going to put trolls as a playable race. To which I was like, hell yeah. And I couldn't substantiate it. So I don't know if it's just total bullcrap or what.
I mean, if they do, they may make it like a type of maybe a Goliath subrace.
I think that might have been what I saw, yeah.
Because Goliaths in the new 5.5 version is they're no longer just tied to stone giants, but they're tied to like all giants.
Just giantkin. That would make sense.
Yeah. And so you can have like a storm giant Goliath, a fire giant Goliath.
I'm trying really hard not to actually learn any of the 1D&D rule set, but like I don't know, I keep seeing videos people posting about like the new D&D stuff that's coming out and how it breaks basically everything from before, and I'm starting to become concerned.
It's too much Farscape. Yeah, Farscape is good. On that note, this is my fundamental problem with 5e. Like, 5e is really fun and great, but you have to homebrew it. You have to homebrew it because there's just so much omitted, and like and which is fine. Like that's totally fine, because I can do that. Like for me, it's never really been a problem.
Yeah.
But so all this stuff they're bringing back, it's like, yeah, this is not new stuff. It's just new to 5e. And
it's all the old stuff, but they're shoehorning it in, and I'm not sure it's going to work because 5e it's supposed to be simplified, right? So how do you add all of this complication without breaking the old stuff?
That's true. Yeah, I don't know.
I think the one things I definitely have learned and I don't really care for is that all classes get their subclass at level 3 now. There's no like sorcerers having it at level 1 or clerics at level 1. You kind of just pick it all at level 3.
Did you watch the short I posted?
Which one?
Yesterday. Basically, it's kind of the same thing. So you also get a feat at level 1 for 1D&D. Which I think is super smart. Like,
agreed.
And like that's how the game should work.
Yeah.
Because my argument for that is that, sorry if that's loud, the kid's playing with paper. My argument for that is that having to wait till level 3 basically makes it so that anybody that has played the game more than once wants to start the game at level 3.
Yeah.
Like, starting a level 1 character sucks because they all feel very samey. And so if it takes giving someone a free feat at level 1 to really customize their character, why aren't we customizing the characters at level 1?
Yeah.
Why is it not?
Exactly.
So subclasses make sense from the standpoint of like, I'm going to give you a kit that you have to learn, and then we'll add complication later. But I also think that you could just like learn that as you go from level 1, right? Like start it off really small.
Yeah.
For me, it's just a bit weird because for certain classes, like just sorcerer and cleric, like where are you getting your powers from? Same with a warlock. It's just like, are you just like naturally magical yourself and doing your own stuff, or?
Oh, kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah. I have that same criticism for like every version of D&D that I've ever taken a close look at, and that includes both versions of Pathfinder. Like it never feels like a functional kit at level 1,
right?
Which is why I like.
There's also
I won't even start new players at level 1. I usually do like level 3, and like when we started 2nd edition Pathfinder, we started at level 5, and I think that was the correct decision because starting at level 1, there's nothing.
Yeah, and the other side of that, I also think is like one of the reasons that they would maybe not do it, why not to give stuff at that early, is because then multi-classing I'm a sorcerer that's going to take 1 level in fighter, but because I'm starting at level 1, I get my subclass, which makes me a sorcerer fighter. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's a little excessive. Like, there would be no reason not to multi-class if it was so instantaneous, but I do still think it's more of an issue of just kind of the general way things are built.
Yeah.
Which is like, I think Pathfinder does a better job of the. Yeah, Corvus and I have talked about this, like, and so I think we're at odds. Whereas Pathfinder really lets you just branch out and do whatever the fuck you want.
Yep.
5e is
I
very
hate that.
specialized
Yeah.
for like you're gonna play one of 3 types of fighters, unless you branch off into multi-classing, which is not what I'm talking about. It's very, very specialized. Like, this is how the build's gonna work, and it works really well because we play tested it. And here's your kit for that build. It's like, okay, and that can be fun in its own way. So like, I don't want to trash on that. It's like, that's stupid. It's just, it's different. It's a different way to look at it, and it works really well for like Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is very restrictive in that manner because it's based off of 5e, and it's fine. Like, it's totally fine. But
For me, it's just
I like the fiddling.
too much options to me is too detrimental for any game. Like, having so much options that it's just like you get paralyzed with choice. Get rid of that. Limit it.
Yeah.
And if you want to expand it, do it slowly.
Yeah. I think Corvus is probably right. Like, Pathfinder is the game for people who grew up on Legos and are used to building what they want instead of following the directions. And 5e is built for the people who enjoy playing with Legos, but either can't or won't enjoy building something that doesn't come with an instruction booklet.
Yeah, I hated Legos. They were not fun for me.
Yeah.
I would always build what the instructions
That's totally
said
valid.
once. I would build
same.
it, and then I would throw the booklet away and toss it into a bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put that away for later, and then take it apart and build what I want to make.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
you,
only
you and me
Lego
are
thing
similar in that regard, Rook.
I ever got was from a Secret Santa in elementary school, and it was a Bionicle Lego.
That's not Legos. You shut your mouth. Those are awful, and I hate them, and I have a bunch of them.
It's a really bad Gundam.
I bought 5 pounds of them, and I'll tell you why I did this. For a project in college, I needed to do like a stop animation, and I didn't want to have to build like an armature and stuff. So I went on eBay, and someone was selling bulk Bionicles by the pound, and I was just like, "Yep, mail me a box of those." But sorry, Corvus, I didn't mean to shit all over your Bionicles.
It's fine. I didn't ask for it. It was just given to me.
Oh man, I had a like. It's sad because like I think the Bionicles was an interesting thing, like an interesting way to make the joints and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, them trying to make it like the superhero weird figure thing, I think is what made it bad. Like, they really should have just figured out a really interesting way to have these jointed mechanical pieces for Legos, and I think that would have been like so much better. But because like as action figures go, they were kind of crap, and as building blocks go, they were kind of crap, and I was like, dang it.
As building blocks go, they were absolute garbage. I kind of enjoyed the storytelling aspect, though. It like they were definitely talking down. It was definitely designed for very young kids, but I didn't mind that. I enjoyed the little game discs that you got.
I didn't realize that was the thing.
Yeah, they were mini CD-ROMs for so you could, there was actually a little RPG computer game adventure.
I had no idea.
They also had movies.
Yeah, those were not good.
Yeah, for what eventually became like the Lego movie franchise, there were a lot of bad Lego movies before that came out.
It's just
Poor Sid.
It was very weird for
boy.
certain naming conventions they decided to go with, like Rapa Nui. It's like that's the island of Easter. It's like the indigenous name for Easter Island, and like the people that live there, the Rapa Nui. What is this?
Yeah, no, Corvus, that's culturally what they were pulling from.
They didn't look like Moa. Let me just
No.
say this.
No, they didn't.
Really weird. That's all I'm saying.
I guess the only other thing I had that was like you could argue was sort of Lego related, but it wasn't, was I got a Beyblade that came with a figure, and like it was
Oh boy, kid. You don't like Beyblades?
has like
I want a Beyblade.
Put it in my mouth.
Put it in my mouth. Spin it up. Put it in my mouth.
yeah, they definitely have made them a bit more kid friendly and slightly less dangerous.
I remember seeing one when I was really young, like right when they came out, and they were made out of like die-cast metal.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah.
Finally, the spinning death top that I saw in Batman.
Yeah, I had one. Though I think the one I had,
Yeah.
they were moving away from like the full metal ones, but it still had a good amount of weight to it that I'm like, that could hurt someone.
When you're done giving your kid raspberries, you are still on the Be Right Back screen.
Oh, am I? Well, I'm not technically back yet. 'Cause I
Yeah.
am- That's fine. I put him
We've
down
been
and started
sitting-
drawing again, and then he got all the way across the room and into a pack of soda. So so quick. He's so quick now.
A little bit too early for your system to have that much sugar, kid.
Here you go. You want the noodle? Good job. Good job, kid. You did
So,
good job.
Corvus, I keep looking over at this lizard, space lizard guy that you posted, and the second one, and I really like it, but it is just a guy with a scaly tail and a lizard mask,
Right?
right? Like that's just a human in a lizard mask.
The armor's really good. I love the
It's
armor.
yeah, it's great.
Literally
The pose
anybody
is
could
cool.
be in that suit.
Yep.
I wasn't part of the art direction. I'm sorry.
I know. Like, I'm not. This is not criticism for you. Thank you for sharing it. I appreciate it. I keep looking over and being like, ooh, that's kind of cool. That's like cool, and also the body's kind of hot. But no, it's just a guy in a lizard mask. Never mind.
This is
I think
my,
always
this is my
been-
problem with furries. Because, like, boobs is good. Boobs is good. I don't care what the face looks like.
Yeah.
It's just the boobs. The boobs is good. Does that make me a furry? Maybe. I don't know.
Did you like Lola Bunny?
Lola Bunny is I think subjectively hot.
Yeah, and not like.
Not
she
because
had-
she's a bunny.
Yeah. No. Agreed. And like Jessica Rabbit is not a rabbit.
That always weirded me out a little bit. Not
That
like
they were married?
no. Yeah, like as soon as you said that, I was thinking like, is that too judgmental for them being married? No, just that like. I think the joke was Jessica Rabbit was supposed to be thought to be a rabbit and then wasn't.
Yeah.
But it was like, why isn't she?
Yeah. But like that's the thing, right? Like I watched that movie, arguably too young of a child.
Sure, same.
and like
Got a
and
rabbit
there's,
in your
like,
pocket.
yeah, so it's the child part of my brain that made that connection. It's like, oh, she's married to Roger Rabbit, and like I didn't get that it was the adult thing of she took his last name because his
Right.
last name is Rabbit. I was like, no, like all cartoons they pair off same species, but she's not the same species.
I remember watching that movie and understanding that there was a joke behind the patty cake line, but like being just too young to know what it was and be like,
Yep.
I'm missing something.
Yep, same.
Yep.
And then watching it later, it's
Yep.
like, patty cake, gotcha.
Yep. How about we go home and play patty cake?
Patty cake, patty cake. Just like drinking himself. I'm like, why is he so mad? Who cares?
Here's you a Stokie Druid.
We're gonna be happy. Hit you in the eye. Roger Rabbit's funny, kid.
Inappropriate, but funny.
Good for the baby. Woo. Woo. Woo.
This really is the most cyberpunk rat folk illustration I have ever seen in my life, and I love it.
It is one of the versatile heritages for Starfinder called the Prismari.
They used to openly talk. Oh, sorry. Prismari. Interesting. It looks like a ghost Pokemon. Oh, no. Sorry. So I saw the thing on its nose, and it looks like a skull, which I bet is intentional. But, like, in the thumbnail, the little black bridge on its nose, I thought was like a skull nose hole. And I could not see its actual mouse nose. And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, so they are supposed to be suffused with the energy from the drift, which is the warp. Like when you go into hyperspace. That's the drift. And
so they're warp mice?
They don't have to be mice. They could be anyone. It's a versatile heritage.
Oh.
So like anyone can take it.
Gotcha.
So like the warp is kind of like has a lot of like technology stuff based around it. I'm a little confused by it. I'll have to like learn more. But like what the drift is.
It's Tron space.
Tron space
I
is
guess.
God, what did they say? They tried to use some weird lingo that doesn't actually make any sense to just describe Tron.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it talks about like how they will have like thick cords or wire for hair, and like electrical components like part of their natural body. It's very, very weird.
I've had like 3 ads on your stream for haunted houses.
Interesting. I blame Halloween Candyman for that, probably. What does that look like? What does the ad for a haunted house look like?
You know they're the like the walkthrough haunted houses where they have actors scare
Yeah,
you.
but like that's a thing that you can advertise?
Yeah.
Maybe that's because you're so close to like Six Flags or something.
Yeah. I like a lot of them are associated with Lagoon.
Okay.
But it's not just Lagoon. It like maybe it's just a thing with Utah Halloween culture. But
Maybe.
there are companies that will rent out warehouses and build like carnival haunted houses inside them.
Oh man, in Idaho we just have corn mazes. Like haunted corn mazes and regular corn mazes and apple cider corn mazes.
I assumed that it was a normal thing, like it was a part of general Western culture, because like didn't Critical Role they built one for Travis?
Yeah, maybe it's just not something I was into, but
Yeah.
as
I mean,
far
I've
as I
never
know,
been into it either, but like
growing up there were no like big haunted houses around me. They would do, what was it? Maybe that was something else. Northern Idaho had Spookywood, which was there's a theme park up there that would convert all that stuff to like a big haunted place.
The weirdest thing to me about the haunted houses is, as far as I know, I'm not within 100 miles of one of a Christian version.
We did do a haunted house at the church one year. I remember that now. I had to volunteer, so I didn't actually get to do it.
Oh, that's too bad.
Old mental hospital and a castle of chaos. Interesting.
Yeah, there's when I was a teenager, there's a mental hospital kind of on the south end of town, and they actually, like, the mental hospital actually put on a haunted house, and they would have, obviously, the stable patients who could actually be trusted to do it well, but they would actually hire the mental patients to participate in scaring people.
Oh, you like that mouse? You like the mouse? Oh my goodness.
I never actually went, but I had a friend who went one year, and one of the mental patients had a chainsaw, obviously not with a chain on it, but apparently they were known, they had a reputation that year for being the best at scaring the absolute piss out of teenagers. Literally in a couple instances.
Yeah, kid. What's up? What do you want? You can't eat the keyboard. That's pretty much the only thing you're not allowed to do right now. He's giving me such a look.
Oh, they open up every Friday the 13th. That's very interesting. There is a house like in the next city over that has a reputation for being extremely haunted, and every like Halloween they'll do like ghost hunting tours there.
We thought it was pretty fancy when the corn maze turned into like a haunted corn maze. That was pretty neat. I was in high school when that happened. That was the first, I think the first haunted house thing that was officially existed.
Yeah. You know what? I bet the haunted house thing is such a big thing in my area because I live in a college town.
That could be.
Bring your date to the haunted house so you can scare them so much that the endorphins will make them horny, and then you can soak afterwards.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Damn it, Druid.
I'm sorry.
Thieving. Run from a salad.
I'm sorry. I apologize. You're right. It was a step too far.
Okay. This kid needs attention. I might have to keep going. You just ate. You just napped. What's up? Hey. What's up? If I make this noise, you'll stop doing what you're doing. It doesn't work when you give me the look of like, ha 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 ha, so happy, and then immediately cry. One of those is fake. Crocodile tears, kid.
He's developing a conditioned response based on the way you behave around him.
Aye. You are surrounded by toys. What do you want? Should I put up a like super chat? Read the boy a book, and then everyone has to listen to me read. Like, he hates Dr. Seuss, which is hilarious to me.
Smart kid.
Yeah. The Cat in the Hat is a bad book. the cat,
Yeah.
is a piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but cats in general are pieces of shit, so,
You see this? You see the colors?
I mean, it's consistent.
Yeah.
No, but green eggs of ham and ham also like that book is really weird. It's a book about a person who absolutely refuses to respect boundaries, and then the moral of the story is it's okay to not respect boundaries.
Red shoes. What's
It's like the dude could have been a vegan.
Yeah.
It goes quack, quack, quack.
Yeah.
What's behind the green balloon?
Anyway,
A dinosaur.
so what are you gonna read him? New Yorker cartoons?
I have a color book he's looking at.
What's in the orange bucket? An orange crab.
I don't know if crabs are orange. Some of these are a little weird to me. But I guess it's orange.
Peach, peach, peach.
Yeah.
What's behind the purple flag?
When you cook them, they're orange, red. Thanks.
I mean, crabs are a whole bunch of different colors, and keratin can. Like, one of the cool things about keratin is because it's like structural. It's very easy to make structural color, so you can get blue and orange and red and green and all sorts of other variations with your only pigment being melanin.
Red. Yeah. See? Red, black.
So I looked up the drift because I needed to know more.
Yeah, yeah.
So the drift is essentially Starfinder's version of the ethereal plane. It's a transitive plane that allows people to do planar travel / faster than light travel.
That's a cool way to look at it.
Yeah.
So you could get to heaven, hell, wherever, if you have a strong enough engine that can travel that far. Because there's still distance involved, as it's not instantaneous, but it's still quicker.
Right.
Then-
Like the Minecraft Nether.
Yeah. And it was
That's actually that's just like how hyperspace works in Star Trek too, isn't it?
That's how it works in real life too.
I guess. And it's kind of ruled over by the Triune, which is a three different gods fused together called Epoch, Saladeli, and Bry. But not our Bry.
Not the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
No. They're all
Missed
like
opportunity.
deities of like technology.
Interesting.
Hence why it probably like when someone who's like either born or is transformed by the drift probably has a lot of technology associated with their body.
Right.
Look at all that paper. You see the paper? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Holy crap, paper.
Sounds like an herbal supplement. It does kind of, doesn't it, Elliot?
No, I'm not allowed to work on a computer.
No, spend time with me.
Oh, so sad.
Well, it is getting late for me and I need to eat lunch, so I think I'm gonna go. I got no response. So okay, well I'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Good luck with the kid, Rook.
Yeah, I'll see you later. It is 2 o'clock. We should probably call it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's mad at me for working. I think he's trying to poop. So, kind of just gotta let him work that out on his own. What was I saying? Oops.
You're good. Have some prunes.
Yeah. Pooping.
I don't know what you were saying. I know I was talking about the drift.
That's right, the drift. Yeah, that's super cool. I like that. I like that idea. Why not both?
And then you have the Borai, who are people who have been reanimated, but it went haywire.
Oh, I don't like that. Why haywire?
There's a Borai is simultaneously living and dead, a corpse reanimated by its own soul into something that's barely living. Despite being corporeal undead, the body is alive and functions as a living shell that protects the tattered undead soul,
Okay.
making them something altogether unique. Borais are often created by others through a botched resurrection attempt, whether through magical or technological means, necromantic experimentation, or by one's own sheer stubborn determination and refusal to accept one's demise.
I like that. Just like forcing yourself to be a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to die. I think we're done with this almost. What am I missing? Oh, gov. Is that good paper? Yeah. I'm a little worried about him, but whatever. I could
Paper
stop
tastes
this.
good.
I could stop this, but
You could. You could be a responsible parent.
he just loves it so much, though. Somebody find out whether or not paper is safe.
Look, the answer is going to be no.
It's almost definitely gonna be no. Don't let your kids eat paper. Okay, I'm gonna call it. I think I'm gonna go hang out with the boy. Make sure he doesn't ingest paper. But I think we're about done with this. I'll probably put this up on a token for the Patreon members. I've been doing that with a lot of these. And then this month is going to be a little weird for Patreon members. I'm going to probably mail out some, no stickers, but like cards. That could be fun. And then we'll go from there. Kiddo, let me do the exit. Let me do the exit.
Oh my goodness. Oh, such a sad boy. Oh, now you're happy.
No, you're not happy. You hungry? Yeah, he might be hungry. We'll go try to eat more food. He did not eat a lot earlier. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging out. Stay happy. Stay healthy. Keep your dice on the table. We'll be back maybe on Friday. I'm not sure. If we do, it'll probably be an early episode, and then I might have to jump out earlier. So we'll give that a try. Kiddo. Yeah? Is that silly? Can you say goodbye to everybody?
Screams into the mic.
He's just looking at it. All right. Thanks again, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. We'll catch y'all later. Bye. Whoop, whoop, wah.